All right. Hi, and welcome to Creative Soul Vibes. I'm simply Artie, and very happy you are here as the creative soul that you are. Okay. Seeking out the coping skills and tools, we all can use and need to become the highest version of ourselves and helping us to reach the perspective of our success, whatever that is, because we know that success is subjective, right? So, what success is for you differ from others, but one thing that we all can agree upon, I believe, is wanting how we're wanting to show up in life for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for some of us who also care about the world at large, right, to some degree, and as much as we can possibly assist others in the world. So this is, I believe it's a great place to help us center ourselves. So, this is a family channel, and and it's for individuals and the entire family. So what we do here, we're providing coping skills once again and tools that are geared towards helping us to ground ourselves and to help us understand ourselves better as well, because understanding ourselves really helps us to, give that assistance to others, right? Um, you've heard the phrase before where if you can't love yourself or you're not loving yourself, then how can you love others? Which the older I get, the more that makes sense to me, and which is another reason why I started this channel. It's really out of self-love, because I realize the more that I'm attentive to my own needs, that makes me more aware of how others may be feeling and how I can assist them in their lives, or if I can at all, right? And so we need that self love, no doubt about it. It's important. Okay. So thank you to my few subscribers. Really appreciate you. I know that there are others listening, and I know that there are others viewing. Um, and it's not so much as that you are just viewing, but you are watching the whole segment. So if you find, that you like what's going on here, um, please, that's encouraging for me to do more of these. And hopefully it also it helps the algorithm of YouTube to put it in front of people who can actually utilize it, right? So hey, thank you for subscribing and becoming a subscriber. Like, share, and your comments are appreciated as well, no doubt about it. So, for more details about me, about this channel, please see the description area, the description box, where you will also find the materials and supplies needed for each project. I may miss a cue on one part of that or another, but either you'll pick it up while we are actually doing the project, or you will pick it up in the description area of one of the other. Okay, that's my humanness. What can I say? Is that a word? Humanness? Okay. So, all right, let's get ready. Let me lead you down a rabbit hole that leads you and connects you to your higher self. So before we get into our project, I always like to take a moment to relax. And honestly, I really need that moment myself, especially like right now, because I entered my artwork into a art show, and the awards are given this evening. So, you know, I'm not like hooked on the idea of, winning anything, but yet I am. It's just I'm just trying to relax myself and enjoy the moment, being a part of such a moment and with such creative energy, right? Other artists and stuff like that. So, uh, but okay, so these techniques for me, the breathing and the affirmations really help me. I hope they help you too. Okay, so before we begin, let's just take in a couple of breaths, or a few, right? And I think we're going to do, I'm looking at doing the 4-4-4. Okay. If you have a hard time with breathing, right, just do what you can. If you get dizzy or something like that, hey, just stop it all together and and wait for us to catch up with you, right? All right. So let's breathe in and loosen up a bit. Okay, breathe in, breathe out on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, hold it 4, breathe out 4. Breathe in 4, hold 4, release. All right. Whew. Let go of that tension. Now we're going to repeat after me. Take your right hand and put it over your heart and say, I love myself. I honor myself. I trust myself. I value myself. That's powerful stuff. And I hope you feel it. I hope you feel it indeed. All right. So today we are doing our emotional landscape. Now, the benefit in doing the emotional landscape helps us to better position ourselves, to take better control over our emotions. It helps us actually to identify our emotions. So when it comes to manifestation, right? I don't know how many books you've read about it and how much you've explored it and experienced it for yourself. But I do realize that it is highly important that we feel a good feeling about what we're asking from the universe, what we're asking from the source of creation and universe. I do believe in vibration. I do believe in that. Um, I, and actually science does too. So that that means a lot for me in a nutshell. So an emotional landscape is is helping us to identify how we are feeling at any moment or time. So we when we indulge ourselves in such an artistic exercise, that's what it's doing. It gives us the opportunity to explore our feelings, in a symbolic way. So that makes it fun within itself, fun and creative within itself. So this exercise will help us translate our feelings and emotions into a scene. Wow, it's like getting it out. It's sort of like the power of journaling, writing, right? That has a power within itself because it's allowing us to release and get things out. I notice when I journal or when I'm doing an artistic um, exercise like this, once I do it and it's out, I and then I come back. I might leave it for a minute and then I'll come back to it, and I have to ask myself, what was this really about? And like if I'm journaling something, I have to ask myself, wow, is that how I really felt about that? Is that what was going on within me? So it's just interesting and helping us to identify our own emotions and feelings. So Before starting our emotional landscape, I want you to, take a moment. You can pause or whatever. Visualize your landscape, having like a foreground. A foreground is what's in the front, a midground, which is what's in the middle, and then a background, which is what we see in the background, such as sky, right? And the midground is land, and whatever's in the foreground, we tend to see it a bit more visibly. Okay. Um, so, by all means, though, be creative, right? Be just allow yourself to flow. There's no wrong or right way to do this, but the way to get the benefit out of it is to be able to visualize as much as you can what you're feeling and what represents what you're feeling. I hope that really makes sense. So, you can freely use various kinds of scenery, foliage, mountains, hills, trees, angry waves, if that's where you are, angry water, or gentle waves, right? Barren places such as a desert, or, a lively place such as a garden, right? Um, but just keep in mind, just as our emotions change, so will our emotional landscape change daily too. Okay, so you could do one of these today and then turn around and do it tomorrow, or day after tomorrow or whatever, and it's just going to change because our feelings and emotions change due to what we're presented in a day, or how we are allowing our minds to, or wherever we're allowing our minds to take us, so, and to dwell upon. And what, another thing before we get started too, is what's interesting, that did I forget my train of thought? Oh my God. Um, oh, what's interesting is that our emotions, there's so many of them. We have like over 500, 800 emotions, but we're really only taught about a few, maybe up to 8. Okay. And so a lot of times, like, we could experience disappointment, but we interpret it as anger because we're not familiar that there's a difference between what we're actually feeling, right? So I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there. I think there's a book on Amazon, in regards to emotions, and I believe it does. I think it's between 500 to 800 emotions that it talks about. It's really interesting. I find the mind and the body and the spiritual realm just so fascinating. Okay. All right. So here we go. You want to be able to sit with yourself, your thoughts, in a quiet place for a moment. Um, and it is true that some of us have a difficult time sitting, with ourselves alone with our thoughts. Some of us have a hard time doing that. No judgment here. But so try as much as you can to allow yourself to quiet your mind, if only for a few minutes, um, and pay attention to what's going on, the emotions and feelings that you may have in certain parts of your body, inclusive of your mind, right? So, what are your current feelings? Um, these are the questions that I want to stir up in you to help you actually get these things out and get them on paper. So, how are you feeling at this moment? Can you feel tension? Um, do you notice any tension in your body anywhere? any part of your body, as I said earlier. So, is there any feelings of void, emptiness, anger, sadness, frustration, or um, you could be experiencing happiness at the time of watching this. That's fine too. Create you create a happiness landscape. Why not? Um, but this exercise is good when we are experiencing low vibrations, such as anger and sadness, anxiety, depression, loneliness, etc. Um, and these things, actually, you can give them a color, and we're going to talk about that as well as we go. So, but as humans, we can experience, as I said, over 500 kinds of emotions. However, to keep it simple, universal, to communicate our feelings universally, is that a word? Okay. um, you know, we are only taught so many, but so I just really want to make that clear. When you are actually creating your emotional landscape, there are certain emotions that you may be feeling, but they are unexplainable, right? And you may create a space within your drawing, or use a certain color to represent that. And if you were to, this is something private as well. You don't have to share these exercises with anyone else. This is for your benefit and value. But I'm just saying, if you were to, um, sometimes if we were to share these types of artistic exercises with another person, they may not even understand. They may not even connect with you on that level. Maybe one thing is because you're not familiar with what you're exactly feeling, but you know that the feeling is there, and that person may not have ever experienced it, or they may have experienced that feeling, but they don't know how to explain that feeling either. So, you know, it is what it is. Welcome to life. um, and then the other thing is, you know what, we may be disappointed, and that's another type of feeling, right? But because we've never been taught about the feeling of disappointment, we may think we are mad or upset. And so doing an exercise like this really helps us to identify and put, it's sort of like put words of meaning for us to help us to describe what we are feeling and thinking at the moment. And then um, it what's beneficial about that is that once we're able to identify what we are feeling, we can then ask ourselves, well, what is this really about? And is there any resolve? Can I help myself to uplift myself up out of this? And how can I do that? And believe it or not, answers come once you sit down and really um, do that self-care part for yourself. It'll continue in that path, on that path, to helping you identify what it is that's bugging you, why it bugged you, and if you are awfulizing, if you are blowing things up out of proportion, and or if you haven't been looking at the things that you have in front of you, the sources and resources that can help you, calm that down and bring you into a better place. All right. So, all right. So now with all that info, think of a landscape that helps you best to represent the mood you're in the present. So you can also go online and find images, or maybe magazines, right? Wherever you can find images that may have the imagery that resonates with your current feeling. So feel free to do that too. You can cut and paste and collage. It's cool. It's fine. All right. But I do have my paints. See, I have my paints on, I forget the name of this paper. Partial paper. Or if you have, this is messy. Yes, I use it. That's because I actually use it, and I can clean this off. But um, I have a few of them. But just to give you an example, you can use aluminum foil even to put your paints in, right? And you have your brush, right, and or paint brushes, and your paper towels and all. So that's what you basically would need, and your pencil. Okay, you'll need a pencil. So your next step would be to, on your paper, take your pencil and lightly sketch your visual landscape if you are going to create it, using these utensils, using your pencil. And what I've done, you can barely see it because I believe that when you sketch, you really want to make it as light as you can see it. And then once you are happy with what you have, then you can go darker. Okay, because it helps when you want to erase something, you don't have that smudge there. All right, or it makes it easier to lift off the lid. Okay, so you're gonna sketch your visual landscape, and I did this yesterday actually. Today I'm feeling a little different, but yesterday that's how I was feeling. And so I just kind of drew my, see, and you could barely see that, but I can see it. And I oh, there you go. You can see a mark there, but anyway, okay. And I'm just drawing my waves in. And can you hear the classical music in the back? I really like classical music when I'm doing my exercises like this. I really enjoy it. All right, so then yeah, I hate that too when I do that. I don't know why I do it. I just do it. I'll try to become more cognizant of it when I'm doing before I do it. All right, so now I'm feeling a certain way right now. I know that there's a certain kind of peace like deep within myself. There's this peace there, okay, a calmness. And so, what I'm going to do now, and I always say, wet your brush before you dip it into any water, so that it helps to clean the brush better when you do it this way. It's not as the paint doesn't stick to the brush like it would if it went into the paint dry. Okay, and then I pinch some of that off, and so now I'm going to go in for my color. Now I'm going to, well, now I'm going to dip because I want it to be really light. So I'm going to dip my brush into the water again. And I'm going to bring out this blue and just kind of feel my energy going out onto my paper. Okay. And you can feel free to do this on a canvas, but I like to keep, I like to keep a journal of these exercises. And so as you can see at the bottom here, and yeah, it's kind of going all over the place. It's moving. Normally I would put some tape on the sides to stop the movement. Okay. And so this is how I'm feeling deep down inside. I know that everything is fine. There's this calm peace there. Okay. There's a peace going on deep down inside. There is peace. Okay. Deep down inside. All right. And then um I may just work from the top down, and it's going to be like this really light watercolor. Although I'm not using watercolors, I'm using acrylics right now. Okay. Just kind of, and this is a pull and tug technique. Okay. Now, if this were a painting class, it would it would go a little bit different, but it's not a painting class. So, and my background is really light back there because it's kind of a sunny day. All right. So you see it's sort of like a gradation kind of movement going on as I go down. All right. Watercolor, you would experience it you would experience this a little differently as far as the flow of how the color would move downward. So, anyways, all right. So I now see on top, I'm feeling a little bit on top of my calmness though, on the outside, I'm feeling a bit shaky, right? A little shaky on the outside. And I know that sounds strange because a lot of times people would say that's opposite. You feel tremendous, anxiety on the inside. But hey, we're all individuals. I'm talking about me right now. And you feel free to identify your feelings, how you identify your feelings and what's going on with you, right? So I'm feeling a little bit uneasy on the outside. So now I may start the turbulence. There's turbulence out there. And it's just kind of like that's how I'm feeling. Like it's just getting really kind of unpredictable on the outside. Okay. And let me add a little bit more paint here. And I may add a little bit of, I don't know, brown. Because it darkens now. And you can actually see the turbulence happening on the outside. Okay. Yeah. So you can see that. It's feeling a little crazy out there. But then the farther I look, the farther I look out, it seems to be some calmness out there. So it's sort of like, if I were to really think about it, sort of like that analogy of the end of the rainbow type of thing. But right now, you know, it's just feeling turbulent. I'm going to use a little red. Dip, dip it into my water. Kind of clean off the old paint. And, you know, because remind you, I'm feeling kind of at peace at the bottom here. But it's all that turbulence on the top. It's just a lot of turbulence on the top. Mixed with a little bit of anger, which is expressive of the red. Okay. Rinse that off a little bit. And then I'm going to add some yellow up top. That's some bright yellow, ain't it? It certainly is. Okay. But I'm going to put some yellow, bring it down, pull and tug with the color. Okay. And then I'm going to add maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking sort of like a mountain right here. I'm going to add a mountain right here. Just going to add that mountain. All right. That mountain represents where I see myself in my work. So I'm going to probably put myself here somewhere in my work. And you could do the same. So when you finish your landscape, you can ask yourself, where do you see yourself in your landscape? And ask yourself, what is it? What does the colors bring out for you? What are you identifying about your situation, about whether it be your body, your emotions, your mental state, right? Whatever, your financial state, whatever the case may be. Only you know what's happening here. So just ask yourself these questions. I'm going to put those questions and certain other questions into the description area, and you can ask yourself as you know as you go along, or preferably once you're finished with your landscape, with your emotional landscape. So here's my emotional landscape so far. And when I finish it, I will share it with you as well, too. Okay. I hope doing such an exercise will help you, bring you to a nice, calm place. Let me know what you think about it, and really appreciate your subscription, your like, your comments. Really do. It encourages me. So until next time, sending you, your family, even your friends, love, light, and peace. Thank you. Take care of yourself.